Well, hello everyone. So, this is going to be a very casual kind of story time / reflection video about an experience that I had recently, and I just thought I would share it. I would say it was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think that's about right. So, someone very special to me has this love of walking in the rain. And we've talked about it a lot. And it's, I guess, traditionally when I had thought of walking in the rain, I think of people running between the drops, coming out of stores and whatnot, and, getting wet in their clothes and just generally yuck, at least to me. But, the idea had been discussed of just walking in the rain to walk in the rain. And, over time it appealed because I really do love the rain. I find a certain amount of peace and soothing in it. And it kind of makes sense because, well, it's nature first of all, and Mother Nature has that calming effect, at least it does on me. But also water, at least as I see it, and at least as I read about it, other people also see it that way, is a symbol of rebirth. So, kind of makes sense that it would wash things away, whether in a metaphorical or a literal way. So yeah, I had this idea in my mind about walking in the rain, just for the heck of it, not to have any aim, just to walk around in it and get wet and enjoy it, So I had kind of thought to myself, well, one of these days, I'll just throw on some workout clothes and do that. But I hadn't done it. And then one rainy day, a couple weeks back, I just had been called outside. Not by anything or any person, just something in me was like, I want to go sit outside. So, I went outside the door and just kind of sat on the steps, and there's an awning that is over, so it was raining, but I wasn't getting wet, although honestly it didn't bother me if I did, because I was in workout clothes. And while I was sitting on the steps, these two teenagers from the neighborhood were walking around in the rain. And it looked like the way they were walking and just talking, and it looked like they were walking on any sunny day. There was no urgency and they were relaxed. And I was in a very kind of a calm and free frame of mind. And something in me said, you know what? What are you waiting for? Why don't you do it now? So I went in the house, put my cell phone down, which honestly is unusual. When I go out, I take my cell phone with me. So the fact that I left it was odd in and of itself. But you all know that they're a bit expensive, so there's no way in heck I was going to walk around in the rain with that. So just grabbed my keys and went for a walk in the rain. And I think I was probably out just walking around the neighborhood through the puddles, getting dirty and wet and muddy and not caring for about 30 to 40 minutes. And it was great. At times I would just stop and look up at the sky or look around or smile to myself. I mean, if people looked out windows as I was walking by at any point, they might have been wondering, what is with this girl? But it is what it is. I was enjoying myself. So I was out for, as I said to you, I think it probably was 30 to 40 minutes. And then along the way when I was walking, something else that I found really kind of, I'll use the word magical, happened. Before I had gone out to walk, I had this image flash to my mind of a deer off to the side of the road in the woods. The idea that, I guess it came to me in the sense of, it would be nice if, as I was walking around, I saw one that close up. Because I'm in New York State, in the United States, for any of you watching this who don't know who I am. Some of you will, because I'll post this on social media and you know who I am and where I'm from. But we do have a fair number of deer around here, so seeing them in and of itself isn't odd. But to me, they draw me. just seeing the deer around. They're such beautiful, graceful creatures. And yeah, so I had that image just come to my mind of it would be really nice if I ran into one. So I would say it was within the last 5 minutes, if that, of my walk, and I was going to be going back. And I was walking and looking up at the sky, and all of a sudden, I look up over the side of the road, and almost exactly as I imagined, there's a deer there in the brush. Now, if you know me, this isn't going to sound so odd, or maybe it will, but it's as I do. So I kind of stopped there for a minute, like locked eyes with this beautiful deer, and I started talking to her, because this is what I do. I talk to the birds, I talk to the bunny rabbits, or whatever other animal are around. I have conversations with them, and sometimes I think they're listening. Well, not really, the sound of my voice anyway. So I stood there with the rain falling and talked to her. And then I started to walk a little bit in one direction and turned back. And she was following me and kind of paying attention. She didn't seem alarmed, but it was great. And then I went back to the house. A little bit worse for the wear, but nothing that a shower didn't, sort out. Wet, a little dirty, but just feeling really, I guess, childlike and free, and I guess that's part of maybe what I want to share is that, there are times, especially when maybe we feel a little bit stuck, and I do go through that in different ways, or down, or maybe just restless. And we want to break out of the norm, and then there are all these things in the back of our minds. Most of us have things in our minds that we say, oh wow, wouldn't it be great if someday I did this? And there are big things in there for sure that we dream about, bucket lists or things that we want to do, achievements that we'd like to have happen that we put off. But there are a lot of silly little things too that we say, oh, for another day. And then at some point when you least expect it, or maybe you do kind of expect it, it just comes to mind. Do it. I mean, the seed of this had been planted by my special person. And my love for the rain watered it, to use a very apt metaphor, I guess. And then just at the right time, I just said, to heck with it, why not? So it was just a really beautiful experience. I felt like a child. And that was one thing I hadn't done as a child. It's like I didn't go out and play in the rain. I don't know if any of you have, but I didn't. So it was just one of those really great experiences. And I'll tell you right now, I'll do it again in a heartbeat. Not with my clothes running, back and forth between the drops of the store. I mean, just to actually go out and walk in the rain. So, yeah. My takeaways, at least for me, nature is good for us. And I'm not just talking about in the sense of what it grows and the sunlight and the nutrients. I'm talking about what I call an energetic effect. For me, it's a soother, it's a calmer, it helps to ground me. If my emotions are a little frayed or I feel a little restless, going outside helps. So that would be one thing that I would maybe say to keep in mind. And the other is just to follow those childlike impulses. Not the ones where anybody's going to get hurt. You or somebody else. But the ones that are silly, the things that adults aren't supposed to do, sometimes those are the very things that we need to do because, kids, sometimes I think kids get life better than adults do, in the sense that they're untainted by all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, all of the file of the things that can go wrong in life, the regrets. They don't have any of that. You know, if you see a child, especially a child that hasn't been to school yet and been affected by their peers and been told that you need to behave a certain way or it's not accepted, kids just follow their flow. They get upset, they'll throw a tantrum, but in a few minutes they're over it. They don't hold a grudge. They don't tend to bring it up and throw it in your face again. Oh, but you did this. They just don't. You know, they live in the moment and they move on from whether it's happiness or sadness, but their natural state tends to be happy. But us adults, you know, supposedly, as our brains mature and we get smarter, we lose that in the moment innocence. We forget how to play. We hold on to things that we would be better off letting go of, and we let go of things that we probably should hold a little bit dearer. So it felt like doing that 30 to 40 minute sojourn beneath the raindrops brought me back to that feeling of freedom that, to be honest, that I haven't had a heck of a lot in a while. So that would definitely be another of my takeaways. And the other, I guess, would relate to where I was talking about having that image flash to my mind of the deer. And then saying to myself, oh, wouldn't that be nice? I find that if we want something and we really do want it in our minds and souls, and then we don't keep harping on it, like, oh my God, it has to happen. Oh my God, it has to happen. Thinking in a sense of fearing that it won't happen, that it's more likely to happen and it's more likely to happen quicker. And that was the case because it popped into my mind once, maybe twice. And then I let it go and I walked and I didn't think anything about it and just lifted my head and there she was, that beautiful doe. So I guess maybe it's the overall theme is to learn how to relax and play. And even at my age, I am still learning, or I should say rediscovering how to go to that place of play and how to relax, because I am a deep feeler and I feel things very deeply all along the spectrum, but I am also a very deep thinker and I can be an overthinker. So that play helps to balance it out. And really, I guess life is about balance. So this is my reflection for the day and my attempt at a little armchair or stoop, as you will, philosophizing. So I hope you are all having a good day, and I will talk to you soon.